So of all the things in the collection, I wanted to talk about this Philip Guston painting. It's Untitled, it's from 1958, and to me it feels like a beautiful Valentine. I love his color palette. It's not like Mondrian or some of those early 20th century abstract artists, and clearly I love abstract art, but they were using pure blues, yellows, reds, and Guston uses these really human, alternative tones, greens and pinks especially. That's why I kind of think of it as a Valentine. This piece, it just makes my heart sing to look at it. It's so kind of riotously human, kind of buoyant, and yet much like all of his work, it's sweet and tender, and it's also kind of off-putting. But I think of him as ultimately tender. He had been making these abstractions which were really influenced by Zen Buddhism and the idea of the void and emptiness and kind of this religious Eastern concept of emptiness. So this idea, I think, helped him just rediscover the surface of a painting. And here you see him moving softly away from that diaphanous, beautiful cloud of paint, and there's starting to be figures here. It's almost like a thundercloud or like a riot of people beginning to reach out towards the outer edges of the paper. And it's starting to kind of move over to the side as if there's a crowd of people moving, but it's not there yet. He's still seeking, it's still abstract. There's still that sense of the emptiness. God, I feel like I gave you more than you. Okay, so Philip Guston, he was the son of immigrants from Odessa, and he ended up in New York as a young man joining the WPA, the Federal Works Project, where all the artists that would become America's great abstract expressionists were first working through these styles and earning a living and surviving through the Great Depression by painting public artworks. So at the end of the 40s, and really it was around 1947 when Jackson Pollock was discovering his drip style, these artists were giving each other support. They wanted to slough off this indebtedness they had to Cubism, and they just wanted to get to this new place. So they supported each other in this exploration. Hey, come back to it. So just when you start to drift, stop and actually return to the painting itself. I have to remind myself of that, because sometimes I get so enmeshed in the historical context, which I love because I love history, but then you have to keep going back to the object itself because it's all right there, and that's where the magic lives. Philip Guston was such a searcher and a seeker, and this piece, you can really feel him at work and working. And Philip Guston loved to smoke, loved to walk around late at night. They would meet at Cedar Bar. He loved food. He just loved the realness of life, but rather than painting, let's say, a still life in that bar or that cafe, he is finding ways to just show that human experience. He's a very human painter. Even when he's painting the void, there's a humanness there, and I think that his soft colors kind of speak to that too. He's not trying to be a purist. He's trying to be a human painter of the social condition. That was a lot.